I testified.
I testify.
I testify.
I testified.
I testified.
I testify.
I testified.
I testified.
My name is Angela Bass. I'm currently working for a private family as in private duty nursing. Hopefully that'll transition into my own business at some point. That's where I'd like to go with that. My son Anthony was 2 years old when I was first arrested. So initially when I was first incarcerated, my son became a foster child for a number of months until a friend of mine came from Oregon to get him. And during that time, she was receptive to me speaking with her concerning him. So she brought him to the prison one time while he was still 2. And that was the last time that I saw him. I got into a program called FRCCC when I was in prison, and they were big on reunification with the family. So they contacted her on my behalf, and then I'm assuming she got nervous because she went silent on me and she wasn't receptive anymore. I was not able to reconnect with my son once I was released. I have not seen my son since he was 2. I've not physically seen him since he was 2. I've seen pictures of him on Facebook. The status of my parental rights is that I have not had my parental rights taken from me, but my son is in the care of a guardian. The actions that I've taken to find my son and reunite with him are that I tried calling his guardian while I was still incarcerated, and she began to dodge my calls. She wouldn't answer, or she would move several places. So I looked on an app called People Finder, and I put in the information that I had about her, and I found her. I found her name, her age range, and her address and her phone number, and I contacted her. At that time, she told me that she was having financial difficulty and that she was just going to keep him until he was 18, as opposed to what she had told me when I was in prison, which was that she didn't want to take care of any teenagers and that I could come and get him. And when was I coming to get him? When she told me that she was going to keep him until he was 18, I hired an attorney and I went to court to get custody of him back, and I lost. I already had a son who was murdered in 2004, and I couldn't take not having my son once I got out, as I was told by her. So I just had to go to the same place in my mind that I went while I was incarcerated, which is a place of numbness. It's a place of not thinking about him anymore because it hurt too much, and I just couldn't allow myself to go insane of the wanting of him. So I do believe that I became disassociated. I was in a disassociated state for a long time. I couldn't even talk to anybody. People don't even know. People who know me don't even know I have a son that was taken from me. It's easier for me to talk about my son that was murdered than it is to talk about my son that was taken from me during my incarceration. I didn't want to sign those papers that they brought to me in the jail. As a matter of fact, next to my signature, I put signing under duress, because they told me that it didn't matter whether I signed or not. They were still going to do what they were going to do. And I did want him cared for properly. So I shut down. I shut down then, and to a certain extent, I'm still shut down because I love my son. I have renewed hope for the first time in a long time because Susan Burton of A New Way of Life put me in connection with two attorneys, one by the name of Andy, who has been phenomenal in helping me to relocate my son. I actually talked to the guardian for the first time in many years, and I was able to get her to at least accept a friend request on Facebook so I could see pictures of him that are not at 2 years of age. So when I found Anthony on Facebook after 14 years, seeing him for the first time was like the sun coming in after darkness, like just perpetual darkness. It was like the sun coming in because I could see him and that he's alive and that he made it, and that he is alive, because for so long I didn't know if he was alive or dead. He looks like me. He has my eyes, he has my cheekbone structure, he has my mouth, my forehead. He looks like me. Anthony looks like me. I have two messages that I would like to send out to the world. One message that I would like to send is that there is always hope. Don't give up. Survive that next second, because sometimes it's by the second or the minute. You don't get to the one day at a time. It's surviving that next second or that next minute. People are not refuse. People are not garbage or trash. People are people, and some people make mistakes. We all have made some type of mistake, but some people make mistakes that are far-reaching. And sometimes it takes support in order for that person to realize their mistakes and to change their mistakes into their message. And that's the message that I would like to get across to people. My name is Angela. I testify to change the narrative because I believe that if laws were changed and help was given, perhaps someone wouldn't have to have the struggles that I had to be reunited with my child.